Hello, welcome to the channel, Isle of Avalon. Today, or this time I should say, we're gonna, okay, feeling a dark goddess message, so if that resonates with you, stay tuned. I haven't done one of these in a while. Let's see here. I actually just pulled out inspiration, so I'm feeling pretty inspired right now. It's interesting because of the lights and the colors that I have in the room are a lot of the same of these, so I'm going to take it. Okay. If you're new or returning, welcome. If you'd like to leave a donation, the links, or book a personal, the links are always in the description of every video. And I also felt the need to start this reading as well with burning some mugwort to kind of open the way. And maybe we'll see what happens here. I find this stuff super exciting. Yeah. And I've been feeling a lot of the dark goddesses coming through. I mean, this is kind of the season for such things. And so, can't really get it to light, but we're going to burn a little bit here. And I've also added some to my bowl of water. I've got a bowl of water here. We may do I don't know if you can see it, but we may do a couple of stirs there. See what happens. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and start the reading. Spirit, what message do you have to come through for the collective you wish to speak to now? All right, here we go. Interesting. Okay, if you didn't check out my spirit animal reading that I'll be posting around the same time, we've got Dear Woman here. So Deer is coming out pretty heavily. Now, I will say that in the last spirit animal reading that I did, Dear Spirit comes when something's out of balance, and when Dear Spirit, which is an aspect of you as well, right? It's when something's out of balance, and to bring that into balance is getting more in tune with yourself and getting in tune with nature. So in that reading, I talk about getting more in tune with nature by connecting to animal spirit allies, right? And as well as connecting to your ancestors and God through nature, right? A little bit about me. I am very nature focused, and I don't like to put myself in a box, but I'm very on the path, on a shamanic path, and I heavily resonate with animism. Okay. So with that being said, we have got Dear Woman here. Dear Woman is in the forest. Dear Woman knows that an aspect of herself, yourself, whether you're a man or a woman, is out of balance. And by getting back into balance and connecting with the self and connecting to your ancestors, those of your highest good, as well as God and your guides, spending time in nature and reconnecting with the divine feminine, which is nature, is the way to go, right? And it's also resisting temptation. Resisting the temptation to fall back into old patterns, and as well as aligning yourself again with things that are out to deceive, or we're just going to say generally not of your highest good. And you know it. You know what these things are. You know who these people are. You know what these perceptions may be, even if they are not people or things in your life, right? You may have cleaned out your entire life, and you may still be working on that. Everyone is at a certain point in their journey, and there's no judgment here, right? But there is an urge for you to connect to nature. Do you see how this woman here, she has her back turned to nature, and she's looking towards this fog, right? And dear woman is here to say, turn back around and go back towards nature, right? Because that is where bliss, light, and happiness is. This woman here looks way more peaceful and comfortable turning back towards things that do not leave her in a dark space or a dark mindset, right? And this could be changing behaviors, maybe hanging out with different people or doing different things, especially if you know that you have been partaking or thinking in a way or being involved with people that you know are not good for you, okay? Okay, so sometimes the story wants to be told in the way that it's told, so we're going to go with this here. I'm getting chills. Wow. So this is you, it's being called for you to kind of get a little bit more on the defense, and that doesn't mean, you know, it doesn't mean stick your hooks out or stick your teeth out or hiss at everybody that walks by, but at the same time, it's urging you to be a little bit more cautious about how you're thinking or what you're doing. It could even be changing your diet, because sometimes the foods that we eat, right? Especially if you drink a lot of soda or you eat a lot of sweets or something like that. Now, look, we can't all be perfect, and we can just do our best, right? But if it's something like that, there's something in your life that you know needs to kind of change or rebalance itself. It's definitely urged for you to do that, okay, as soon as you can, in the best way that you can. Okay. And with that, we've got Callie with destruction. There's something, part of you, part of your life that needs to be destroyed so that you can make the changes in advance, so that you can advance in your life, okay? You cannot move forward in life if you do not get rid of the old, right? Let's see how this wants to play out. Okay, so we've got we've got a lot coming out here. So you could resonate with Callie, you could resonate with the Morgan, you could resonate with Lilith, and the number 2 could be significant to you, as well as Mayet. Forgive me if I'm not pronouncing that right, okay? There's something here about turning temptation into seduction, right? So instead of you falling into temptation, instead of you falling into old things that you know have left you in a place that you don't want to be, the dark divine feminine, right? It's urging you to go towards what makes you happy. Go where you are loved. Go where you are appreciated, wherever that is, however that is. Okay. If it's talking better to yourself, right? If it's using your inner voice to be more positive, see the good in things, okay? Seeing the glass half full instead of half empty, right? And it's a choice, okay? Unfortunately, you have to work just as hard to be happy and be positive as you do to be negative and cynical, right? A lot of people think that it's hard, especially when you're in a place of being depressed, right? When you're in a very dark mindset and place. And I will tell you, I don't really like to get personal and stuff, but listen, I have been at the worst and the lowest of the low, okay? And there was no pharmaceutical, there was no pill, there was no therapist or psychiatrist that could pull me out of it. Okay. Sure. Yeah. I have done all the therapy and all of that stuff, but what had to happen was me literally choosing choosing and actively being determined in destroying parts of me and in my mindset and how I viewed the world, and start partaking in things that really make me happy instead of focusing on how terrible things are or how terrible I feel, and focusing on what makes me feel good. And maybe that's something that you can do. Okay, I'm definitely speaking to a group of people. You may be facing some kind of depression or hardship, right? And know that for those things to pass faster, you have to put in some kind of work on yourself, whether internally or externally, right? So maybe you haven't been feeling as good as you could be, right? Maybe you haven't been as happy as you could be, but have you been doing anything that does make you happy? Or have you just been sitting around thinking about how unhappy you are? Like, really sit down and think about that, right? You can't, nothing can change until you cause some kind of destruction. And destruction is a necessary function of the universe. It is a necessary function of yourself, of your life. You have to break something down to create something new, right? And that also means if you have to argue with yourself and say, no, life is beautiful, or I'm going to be happy no matter what. If you're doing something that's leaving you feeling unhappy, figure out what your hobbies are, right? Do something, even if it's not productive in the eyes of society, right? Like, I game, I play video games. It makes me happy. Am I doing anything productive with it? Well, no, but it sure is beats sitting around thinking about how, you know, other things in my life that I can't immediately change. I can change my mood right now by going for a walk, or going to have some good food, or spending time with my kids or my animals, or whatever it is to you. Those are just examples, but I can guarantee if there's any reason that you're feeling low in your life, there is something or many things around you that if you just open your eyes and look at them and see that they fill your cup and they make you happy, you do not have to sit in this state that you could find yourself in if it's not making you feel good or it's not benefiting you. Okay. And that is kind of like the message of being a star. You may have been seeing the number 13 a lot. It's kind of like, you're turning around from that mindset, okay? And you're seeing the light, right? You're seeing the light. And then you're taking that light and making it you, right? And that is destruction. That is destruction. That is determination, right? That is, in a way, defending yourself and defending who you are and defending what you hold most dear, which is your happiness, which is what makes you whole, which is what fills your cup, right? And it's not the deception of you having to fit in or please other people or dim yourself because you're worried about, it's not even being worried about, but because other people are being overbearing in their projections on you, right? And with that, judgment is kind of, it's like you're holding judgment on, not only are you holding judgment, but the goddesses are holding judgment on everything. It's like everything in your life and what you've accumulated in your mindsets that you've adapted and your behaviors that you've adapted, it's all being placed in judgment. And it's not that you're being judged or about to be punished for anything that you've ever done, right? It's about determining what needs to be destroyed, right? What needs to be destroyed and what needs to be resurrected, right? What needs to be destroyed? What needs to be resurrected so that you can be in your full glory, in your full power, so that you can gain prosperity, right? So that you can be prosperous, so that you can be powerful, right? And wow, we've got a wow. Listen, if you resonate with any of the dark goddesses, I feel like if I say any names, that it's just going to be like, I'm going to be blurting out like every name that there is. So I'm just saying, if there's any dark goddess that you work with, I'm telling you, they are all coming through right now. And you are like heavily protected. You're being so empowered, okay? You may have Egyptian ancestors. You may be a very old soul. You may resonate with the first woman. You may especially follow maybe Greek or I'm going to say pagan, Germanic, Celtic goddesses. But they're all coming through to let you know that you are guided, protected in your course, your empowerment, your prosperity. It's up to you how fast you want to get it. And for you to do that, you have to change. You have to weigh out what's good for me, what's not good for me. Whether that's a part of you, whether it's someone you're dealing with, whether it's something that you're doing or have been doing, or someone, whatever it is, okay? You're always protected and safe. You have so many blessings awaiting you, and the only thing that can ever hold you back from them is yourself. Don't resist. Don't resist what's good for you. Don't resist those changes that you have been getting urged to make and that you know you need to make, right? And always, of course, stand in your integrity. Know and trust that you hold, know and trust that you hold the torch. And this torch, this wisdom, this awareness, this intuition is given to you because it lights your way in life. And this is your protection. This is because you have so many protectors and ancestors, and man, you have a lot of weight and authority in the spiritual realm, and it's up to you to remember who you are, okay? And I don't know why it came out, who the fuck you are, right? Remembering who the fuck you are. And I don't know why, but they wanted me to say it like that. So that's what I'm going to do. And anyways, I'm going to leave it there. So if you like the way that I read, if you'd like to book personal with me, the links are always in my description. And I'll see you in the next one. Blessed be.